I woke up before dawn to the sound of my sheep going berserk in the shed. It was like nothing I'd ever heard in my 15 years running this ranch, frantic bleating echoing across the misty fields. Pounding hooves shaking the walls. My gut twisted as I yanked on my boots and grabbed a hay bale, figuring maybe a coyote had slipped in or the latch had busted loose from last night's wind. But when I stepped out into the crisp autumn air of our spread in rural Montana, back in the fall of 2023, my blood ran cold. There, smack in front of the shed door, sat a sleek black Mercedes, parked like it owned the place, blocking everything with surgical precision. The chrome gleamed under the rising sun, mocking the dirt tracks from my old pickup that had rutted this ground for generations. The sheep's cries grew desperate, slamming against the wood as they sensed me outside, starving for their morning graze. Heat was building inside already, and with a storm forecast barreling in by noon, shifted up from the weekend predictions and needed my equipment out now to bale the alfalfa before it turned to mush. That's when I spotted her, Victoria Lang, the self-appointed style czar for the nearby subdivision's homeowners association. She was fussing over camera gear with a nervous kid who looked fresh out of college, propping up fake flowers and silk banners against my weathered siding like we were on some glossy ad set. They turned my working ranch into their personal stage without so much as a howdy or a heads up. I marched over, hay bale digging into my shoulder, trying to keep cool. "Ma'am, you've got to move this car. My animals are suffering in there." Victoria barely glanced up from her tablet, her polished nails tapping away. She fixed me with a look like I'd crashed her party. "Ethan, this eyesore of a shed clashes with our enclave's vibe. We're capturing the before for our upgrade pitch to the board. Gotta show how it drags down property values." Her voice dripped with that fake sympathy, ignoring the bleats, turning frantic. The kid snapped photos, oblivious to the heat stress building inside, where temperatures could spike and drop a lamb if left unchecked. Back at the house, I spilled it to my wife, Sarah, while she cross-checked weather apps on her tablet. Her eyes narrowed at the updated radar storm bands closing in fast, compressing our window to hours. She pulled out our land title, the faded ink mapping boundaries from when we bought this place 2 decades back. "Look here, Ethan. Our ranch clears their HOA line by a solid 300 feet. She's got no claim, pure trespass." We grabbed her infrared scanner from her home audit gigs and aimed it at the shed. The screen lit up like fired zones spreading, proof the animals were baking alive. We set up a time-lapse cam too, capturing their pacing, the distress calls any vet would flag as abuse. I tried sidestepping the drama, measuring the side gate for my rig, but no die seat was too narrow for the baler. Fury boiled as I hollered for her to shift the Mercedes. Victoria waved me off, draping more fabric like she was decorating for a gala. Neighbors started trickling in, drawn by the racket carrying over the hills. A jogger from down the lane paused, brow furrowed. "Everything okay with your flock, Ethan? Sounds like hell in there." When I explained the blockade for her aesthetic audit, his face hardened. "That's your land, how's she pulling this?" Soon, 3 more folks showed up, snapping pics of the absurdity, luxury sedan versus starving sheep, props clashing with real ranch life. They grilled Victoria on her rights, sharing tales of HOA bullies who'd overreached before starting with flower beds, ending in land grabs. Sarah dug deeper, pinging the car's signal. Turns out it wasn't hers. It was corporate fleet, scraped sticker and all, tracked straight to her sponsor's HQ. Used without clearance for this stunt. Victoria's smirk faltered as the group closed in, demanding permits. "Community image trumps your outdated setup," she snapped, but the doubt in her eyes said otherwise. By day 2, the bleats had turned neighborhood-wide alarm. and someone not called County Livestock Control. Inspector Hayes rolled up with maps and gear. Body cam rolling. He paced the boundaries. GPS in hand. This ranch is AG zoned. Ma'am. Outside HOA turf. And these welfare readings. Violation, city obstruction. Confinement. The works. Victoria blustered about enclave enhancements. But he shut her down cold. Livestock laws beat volunteer vibes every time. Citations flew, fines looming. Potential charges if it dragged on. The air crackled with tension as she realized her bluff was crumbling. Sarah looped in the company's insurers. Dumping our evidence, heat scans, footage, inspector docs. Their response hit like lightning probes into asset abuse. Liability spikes. Victoria fired off an email that night. Back off. Ethan. Or powerful folks will bury your operation. Sarah's face paled. This was intimidation. Raw and real. Insurers flagged it as fraud red flags. Especially with the car still planted post warnings. 3 firms piled on. Dissecting timelines. Threats turning her volunteer gig into a criminal web. Day 3. Storm clouds loomed 3 hours out. Sheep near collapse. Corporate repo crew arrived midship badges. Tow rig. The works. Victoria's poise shattered. You can't take it. IVE got an emergency permit. She thrust forward a slapped-together paper. Fonts mismatched. No seal. Neighbors crowded. Phones out. That's fake as a $3 bill. One growled. Officer Ramirez showed. Scrutinizing. Forgery's a felony. Ma'am. Add threats. You're in deep. Her rant escalated, accusing us of sabotage. Voice cracking as the Mercedes hooked up. The crowd murmured. Footage capturing her meltdown, from queen bee to fraudster in real time. The firm auctioned it off, tainted by crime. Unfit for fleet. I showed at the yard. Victoria barred at the gate, yelling about enclave rights. Bidding boiled down to me and a junkyard guy eyeing parts. He tapped out at my final push. Ownership mine. Clean and legal. Back home. With Ramirez witnessing for the record, no vendetta. Just closure. I fired up the baler. The crunch of metal under treads echoed like thunder, reclaiming my dirt from her tracks. Sheep grazed free. Temps normal. Storm dodged by a hair. Victoria's fall was total. Charges for fraud. Misuse. Threats. HOA boot. Probes ripping her life apart. Policies tightened, fleet tracking beefed. HOA limits clarified. Our new sign screamed, private ranch land. AG access only. No HOA here. It hit hard. Watching her drive by, eyes on the wreckage of her choices. But was crushing that car justice or overkill? Do HOAs wield too much unchecked power, trampling real lives for curb appeal? Should folks like Victoria face harsher slaps for fraud? Or is forgiveness the way? Drop your hot takes in the comments. Did Ethan go too far? Like if you side with property rights. Subscribe for more wild tales that spark debate. What would you do in his boots?